All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 105 of my Gateway Experience. Thank you so much for tuning in. The purpose of these videos is to document our journey through the Monroe Institute's Gateway Experience. I like to call the Gateway Experience a scientific, repeatable process of self discovery, self exploration, and ultimately self mastery. It consists of a total of 36 tapes divided into 6 waves. We are currently on the third wave, and we're on the first tape of that wave called Liftoff. Today's the second day that I've done this so far, but it is the 13th tape, so I've done a few of these tapes. If you haven't seen any of my other videos, go ahead and check those out. That way you can see our entire journey so far. So let's get straight into it right now. It is December 7th, 2022. It is a Wednesday. It is 6:13 a.m. Making pretty good time here. Woke up at 5 a.m. Haven't wasted too much time. Just stayed focused, did my morning routine, and then I went ahead and did the liftoff tape for the second time. And what can I possibly share with you guys? So I guess I'm not afraid anymore. I'm much more comfortable. I think the first time was uh, very scary for me. I think it was like, okay, what do I do? Where do I go? What am I supposed to expect? What if it actually does happen? What if I actually do go out of body? Where would I go? Would I just shut down really because of fear? But that wasn't necessarily the case today. I was much more comfortable. I felt much more safe, and I felt much more open to dreaming of any and every kind of possibility. And I remember thinking today as I was sitting there, I was like, man, I really gotta teach my kid the most important, valuable asset from both my kids, if I don't have more. The most important, valuable asset that you have as a human being is your imagination. It's your ability to imagine solutions to any problems. It's your ability to imagine the future that you're going to live for yourself and for your family. It's your ability to imagine the world we live in as better than it is now. Because through our imagination, we can always step into that future that we choose to co create. So, that is what I've got to share with you guys. I could go into like the little details and everything, but it's really not that important. I think the most important thing is for you to be practicing this for yourself so that you can actually see it. Don't believe a word I'm saying. Do it for yourself so that you can see the benefits and, really experience what you can do for yourself without having to go elsewhere. You can literally, well, I guess you would have to go through the audio tape, but really at the comfort of your home, you can really come up with all kinds of amazing, and you'd be amazed. You'd surprise yourself. Like you might go into an out of body experience. Fell asleep is what I tell people, but really I went into an out of body experience and I could see very briefly, but I didn't want to admit it. I didn't want to say, okay, this is real. I was like, oh, this is my imagination. You know what I mean? But the reality is that we catch glimpses. We catch glimpses of ourselves from outside of our body. We just don't know. It's not as impactful because it happens in a snapshot like that. And it is impactful for a lot of people, I think, when they're about to lose their life. When they're about to lose their life, they're like, oh my God, that was such a traumatic experience. And I remember these details about it because it was so traumatic. But I feel like on a day-to-day basis, we go through these things very regularly. I imagine myself walking into a room doing something before I do it, and then I actually do it. Is that precognition or is that just will? I think it's precognition when it's not your influence, it's somebody else's, and you can see what they're doing. But when it's your own influence, I think it's partly both. I think it's like, hey, we're going out here and we're creating the world that we want to create. And we're not doing that from like reacting to everything in the physical world. We have to see it. We have to see it in our mind before we can ever create it here. We have to create it in our minds first, in our own world, in the world that is comes before this one, before we can ever do it in the real world. Um, you know, and I mean, how else am I gonna prove to you guys? I can tell you guys stories, and I think I'm going to, especially as they keep going, and as I have done so far already. And I mean, even these videos are all a big story. But what am I gonna do? Am I gonna hook myself up to cables and do all this stuff? Maybe. Am I gonna come here and tell you guys something that's gonna happen that's gonna be huge? Maybe. I mean, at the end of the day, really, it's about communication and creating the world together. So that's all I'm gonna say. If you want to communicate with me, let me know in the comments down below. And until next time, I will see you guys soon. Peace.